Karina, I'm so excited for our hike today.
Yeah, me too. Where's Rita?
I'm ready.
Rita, are you really ready?
Yeah, I've got my gym shoes on, ready to go.
Rita, look around us. There's clouds everywhere. It looks like it's gonna rain. I have my raincoat. Karina has hers.
Maybe we should check the weather forecast.
Welcome back to Channel Tree Weather Report. I am your host, Rodney Thunderstruck.
And I'm Summer Days.
Today's forecast is a pretty high chance of rain,
And it's also going to be pretty windy and pretty chilly here today.
so make sure you wear your raincoat.
And bring your umbrellas.
And next time you hike on durable surfaces, watch out for puddles.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
All right.
Rita, you look so planned and prepared with your raincoat.
Yeah, I sure am glad that I put on my raincoat because the climate today is supposed to be pretty rainy.
Rita, that's great that you're planned, but the climate is different than the weather. The weather today is going to be rainy and maybe a little cold, but the climate's a little bit different.
Yeah, the climate is more of a long-term thing. So it's the daily weather conditions combined or averaged over a long time, like 30 years.
That's pretty cool. I'm really excited to learn more about this today. Today, we are going to talk about the water cycle. We are going to follow the story of Walter the water droplet and the journey that he will take throughout the water cycle. A cycle is something that happens over and over again in a loop. So that means that water droplets, like Walter, are always within one of the steps in the water cycle.
We are going to start our story today up in the clouds. These clouds are made up of water droplets. Water droplets are tiny, tiny drops of water, even smaller than raindrops. We'll get more into that as we work our way through the water cycle. So the first stage of the cycle that we are going to talk about is precipitation. These water droplets will get bigger and bigger in the sky until they just have to fall. When they do finally fall to land, this is called precipitation. We know of precipitation as rain and snow, and also as hail and sleet.
Once these water drops fall from the sky as precipitation, they have a couple of options on where to go. They might simply fall into a large body of water like a lake, river, or ocean. Because these water drops are part of a cycle, all of them eventually spend some time in one of these bodies of waters.
Sometimes these drops will fall onto land. When this happens, they still have even more options of where to go. Some will simply stay on land and eventually flow into our lakes, rivers, streams, and other bodies of water. This is called runoff. The water is running across the land until it either ends up with other water drops in bigger bodies of water or until it is absorbed into the ground. Let's take a closer look underground to get a glimpse of this step of the water cycle.
Water drops that have soaked into the ground become groundwater. Even though we humans cannot see groundwater directly, it is still a very important part of the water cycle. We get a lot of our drinking water from groundwater, as do plants, who can collect the water through their roots.
Once these water droplets end up within another body of water, whether it be a puddle in your backyard or an entire ocean, they will go through what is called evaporation. Let's break down some of this word. Evaporation is what happens when water droplets are heated up by the sun and turn into water vapor. Water vapor simply means it is water in the form of a gas. You all have seen water vapors without even knowing it in the form of steam, like from your shower or from a hot cup of tea. This water vapor will rise up into the sky from its body of water and return into the atmosphere.
Once water vapor gets high enough into the sky, it will turn back into a water droplet because it is so much colder up there than it is here on land. As all of this vapor turns back into droplets, it will form clouds. Clouds are simply big groups of water droplets that form in the atmosphere. However, once enough water droplets get into a cloud, they will combine or come together in the final step of the water cycle that we will talk about today. This step is called condensation. The water droplets come together to form bigger drops of water. They will become far too heavy to stay in the atmosphere and will eventually fall as, you guessed it, precipitation. So now you know the journey that a single drop of water, like our friend Walter, will take throughout the water cycle. This process is happening constantly, so Walter and all of his other droplet friends will spend every second of their day within one of these steps.
Welcome back to the Bear Brook Food Science Kitchen and Laboratory. Today we are going to be demonstrating for you all just how much water we have on Earth and what form it is in.
So here we have a bucket of water that represents all of the water here on Earth. And this water is just dyed red so you can see it better on camera.
So this is all of the water, and right now I'm going to take 6 tablespoons, which is just a very small bit of the total water on Earth, and this is going to represent all of the fresh water that we have on Earth.
But Jackson, what is so special about fresh water?
Well, fresh water is not like salt water, which is in the oceans, because salt water in the oceans has salt in it, so we cannot easily drink this at all. But fresh water is all of the water that we can drink. But even this, we can't use all of this amount.
Okay, so we can actually only drink about 1% of all the water on Earth, because this big portion here would actually belong to frozen water, like in glaciers and different things like that.
And so this tiny little cup, which is 1% of all of the water on Earth, is all of our lakes and rivers and streams and groundwater and all of the drinking water that we have on Earth. So now you can see just how important it is to be aware of how much water we're using and where our water comes from.
All right, everybody. So now we are going to talk about different sources of water. So as you may or may not know, different cities usually get their water from different places. So some of you may or may not know already where your water comes from, but go ahead and take a minute with your class and try and figure out if any of you do know where you get your water from. So if you live in Manchester, you get your water from Lake Massabesic, which is a big lake just outside of Manchester. We took this picture, which is pretty fun. If you live in Concord, you get your water from Pinnacook Lake, which is just to the northwest of Concord. And if you live in Pembroke or Allenstown or parts of Hooksett, you get your water from groundwater, and it is pumped up through wells that are run by the Pembroke Water Works. So that's pretty cool to know where you all get your water from.